today I'm reviewing the Thank You Farmer Sun Essence Project. And really quick, I just want to say I purchase all these products with my own money. So if you want to help keep the channel independent, check out my products at nobsbeauty.com or click on the Amazon link below. So this sunscreen, I believe I picked it up from FabFitFun, like customization or the edit or some sale from there. So I got on sale, which is nice. And I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts on it based on my Sarah score scale. And this is meant to be a light sunscreen. It's a chemical, mostly sunscreen. It has an SPF 30 with a PA++. And I believe that goes up to 4 pluses. So 2 is okay for like the UVA rays. So it doesn't necessarily catch everything, but it does okay. And it's got ETHYLHEXYL METHOXYCINNAMATE 6%, ETHYLHEXYL SALICYLATE 3%, and titanium dioxide 1.22%. So for the most part, it gets, you know what, this would probably be the bare minimum, what I would recommend for daily use. I wouldn't recommend anything really lower than that, but for most part, for an average day in and out, inside most of the day, it's okay. It's enough. But for real anti-aging, I recommend going a little bit above and beyond, but this is probably bare bones what I'd recommend. So let's see. My first criteria is packaging, and they've done a nice job packaging this in a squeeze tube. However, what annoys me is that I can't really stand this up very well because the top of it is curved. That's annoying, but the packaging is okay. Although I'd really like to be able to stand it up, but I can't. So my second criteria is alcohol, and it contains some good fatty types of alcohols. So that's a good thing to see. A lot of sunscreens, especially when they have the word essence in them, tend to have a lot of alcohol in them. And this one just has the good kind. So I was highly prepared after even experimenting with this for a few days to see some types of denatured drying alcohols, and I didn't see any. So that's good. My third criteria is fragrance, and this is the only downside, is it does have a very light kind of a fruit scent to it. It dissipates in about 30 minutes, so it's not a huge deal. So it's got fragrance in there, and then it also has Nelumbo Nucifera flower water, which is lotus flower, which has a scent, and it also does have some good antioxidant properties to it. So it's not like a lot of other ingredients where it's just good or bad. It's good and bad. So if you have sensitive skin, it could be an issue. Most people, I didn't have any issues with it. But again, mixing sometimes the chemical SPF filters along with fragrance is not always a good combination, especially if you have very sensitive skin or a damaged skin barrier. So just be aware of that. And if you use it and have any issues, then you know it was probably the sunscreen. So the manufacturing location from this is Korea, so no issues with that at all. Ease of use, I'd recommend using this at the very end of your morning routine. If you use a foundation, make sure this is the last skincare product you use before you apply the foundation. But for the most part, it applies pretty easily. It is very light, so for me, I wasn't able to add this in or remove like a moisturizer. I wasn't able to use this in place of a moisturizer just because of how light it is. But it did apply nicely over my moisturizer and nicely under my foundation. And I didn't have any issues with pilling or anything, so that was a good thing. So this one won't necessarily help you eliminate a product in your routine. It's probably just something you're going to add to your routine. So you can definitely reapply this throughout the day if you're out a lot. Although if you're going to be outside a lot, I would probably recommend a different sunscreen. But if you are religious about reapplying it and this is the only sunscreen you like, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. And it definitely sets to a glowy satin finish. So you can see how my one hand is very dry and matte. And the other one has a nice glowy finish. So it works well under most foundations. Everything I tried it with, it worked nicely with. There's a lot of reviews for people that prefer more of a matte finish. The people say it's got too much of a dewy satin finish, which I can see. Although if you like to have a little bit of a glow or like a satin finish or a more radiant dewy finish, this is a good option for you. So yeah, so very easy to use. In terms of beneficial ingredients and antioxidants, we've got some good ones in here. So, PORTULACA OLERACEA extract. I'll include the ingredient list below. aka purslane is a good ingredient for hydration. Glycine soya lipids, which is a good ingredient also for hydration. Echium plantagium seed oil is another good one for hydration. It's got some good fatty acids in it. Aloe's in there for hydration. Mallow, which is Althea rosea extract. Skin soothing ingredient. Pluenachia volubus seed oil, which is a skin protecting ingredient and emollient. Check out the ingredient list below. And if you have tips on pronunciation, I'll take those very nicely. I'll be very polite about it. And then sunflower seed oil, unsaponifiables, which is unsaponifiables is just like a fatty substance that fails to form into other products like soap when it's mixed with other ingredients. So those are usually good hydration ingredients and emollients. So in terms of other beneficial ingredients, they did a good job adding a lot of good hydration and moisturizing ingredients. So they did a very good job on adding some good ingredients in there. My 7th criteria is animal testing, and the Thank You Farmer brand is cruelty-free. Performance. Definitely will protect your skin from sun damage. There's no white cast, which is nice. Some of the chemical SPF filters that they used could be irritating to sensitive skin, especially with the inclusion of fragrance that they added. That makes it much more likely to happen. I found for me it works okay until the end of the day. And by the end of the day, my skin did feel a little itchy with it, which is probably from the chemical sunscreen ingredients. But for the most part, it was a nice, non-drying chemical sunscreen, but best for those with normal skin that's not sensitive. So performance was okay, as long as you don't mind the dewy finish, because it will get more dewy throughout the day unless you apply a long-wear foundation or a setting powder that absorbs it. So my 9th criteria is the price, and this is the full size, which is 1.4 ounces or 40 milliliters. And it retails for $27. I got it at FabFitFun on like their custom made, their edit or something. So I think for me it was like $11. But normally, so it's $27, but it's still pretty affordable as well. If it's for a good sunscreen that you're going to use, $27 isn't too much. But it can be a little pricey, I guess. So it's not the biggest bottle. So, and then my 10th criteria is the it factor. Had this been totally fragrance-free, I would have been much more likely to recommend it to people because of some of the fragrance, along with some of the chemical sunscreens, along with the PA++, and not having 4 pluses behind it make me not quite likely to give it the it factor or recommend it to anyone. But some people absolutely love it, and there's nothing wrong with that. If it's something you like and you're willing to use it every day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So overall, I gave this a 7 out of 10, which is still pretty darn good, especially for a sunscreen. I'm definitely hard on sunscreens. And you can tell there's a lot of sunscreens I've tried that I haven't even bothered to review because they did so terribly. So, especially if it's one that's not very popular, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to focus on bigger fish to fry. So anyway, I'm interested if you guys have a chance to try this out, or if you've tried anything else out from Thank You Farmer. What have you tried from them, and how have you liked it? So definitely leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Stay tuned for more Sunscreen Week tomorrow. And yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow.